transmission on that one and that one.
We're back. All right, guys, this must be fire tonight because clearly, that's two times now. Hey, Dion Stevens, thank you so much. Greetings to the Kingsman, he says, or she says, I'm not
He
sure.
said, yes,
Yes,
Miss
she.
She
Dion.
Miss
says,
Dion.
okay, so you go ahead, Donovan. You were in the middle of a flow before we got so abruptly interrupted.
Yeah, so knowing that none of these keys were working in my life, I wasn't building any wealth. And now
All right, we lost him again.
you can go to college and get a career. We out again?
No, you're back.
Oh, okay. Or go get a trade. Some kids are told, hey, if you get a trade, you'll never be without work. You'll always have a job.
Mm-hmm.
And for a time, that was probably the smartest thing that a kid from the lower middle class could do. But that no longer works. Like literally, the gap between the 1% and the rest of us is so great that there is no middle class. You're either have or have not. And if you're not going to do the things to be a have, well, by default, you're choosing to be a have not. So in this season, in this time, we need to be millionaires by choice. And that doesn't mean that I decide that I'm going to be a millionaire on Tuesday and on Wednesday, there are my millions. No, now you start down the path. And
Mm-hmm.
these are four keys to open doors that are going to be obstacles in your way to get you there, Mr. Taylor.
It's so funny you said that word millionaire. Like I think we're so like that's all we hear. Be a millionaire, be a millionaire, being a millionaire. And I truly believe like they programmed us because being a millionaire is almost living kind of like at the bottom line of poverty almost is gonna be that way it seems because the way our society is advancing and the way things are going, it's like, yeah, being a millionaire is gonna be like a just the everyday thing for those who decide, to make that choice and make that decision. And what we're saying is, I heard something today. Once again, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Like to live in today's society and we are experiencing what happens when you rely on a paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Look how people are hurting. Like this should wake people up to say, you know what? I should never be in that situation again. I have to build something on the side. And we're going to talk about leverage, but I'm going to go ahead and mention a little earlier, but I want everybody to go watch the Tubo story on YouTube. TUBO story. Go watch that 9-minute cartoon and don't sleep on the cartoon because there's so much nuggets in that video about building something on the side. I saw a post today. It says there's not how to go something about it's okay to have a 9 to 5 and have a side hustle because one day that 9 to 5 something might not want you anymore. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, yeah, it's okay to be able to build something on the side. Like it's a smart thing to do. It's just not common sense. It's just good sense to begin
Mm-hmm.
to build something that's going to create you another revenue stream of income. If not two, three, four, five, six, and they don't all have to be gushers. It could be a little here, a little there, a big one here, medium sized one here. But let's go ahead.
Right. Like,
I'm feeling like Donovan today, man. I'm
no,
feeling.
man, flow. Because income stream number two, that could be what pays for your living expenses. Income stream number four,
Yes.
that's what takes care of your family. Income stream number five is what you use to treat yourself to the new clothes, new shoes. Income stream number seven is what you use to reinvest into income stream number one. There's so many
Mhm.
variables in
Yes.
this game. And because we're only going to work on a 9 to 5, working 8 hours a day plus overtime, we are not even in the game, and we haven't even realized that we thought we were in the game
Mm-hmm.
because they broadcasted on TV that this is what the middle class is doing. These are the homes you can buy. This is the lifestyle of the rich and famous. So by through osmosis, you thought you put yourself into that life or your favorite TV show. You
Mm-hmm.
put yourself into that character, not realizing that if you step back and you were kind of ghost yourself out of your body and look at your life, you are in neutral, going nowhere. And because you're going nowhere, the world is passing you by. And here we are where the world's at a standstill and you have no income coming in. You have no hope. You're waiting on a stimulus. You're wondering what they're going to do instead of saying, what am I going to do? To quote the president that was assassinated by Lee Harvey Oswald, that's what they told us first. And I'm sowing that nugget to tell you to stop believing what they tell you first. The first story that they tell you is generally the lie. So he famously quoted, "Ask not what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country. Ask not what your country's going to do for you, but what are you going to do for yourself and for your family during this time? Are you going to, like Mr. Taylor said and Miss Queenie said, are you going to come out of this with regret? Or are you going to come out of this better and a better position and use this crisis as the opportunity that put you and your family in a better position?" And I just heard this. Someone just heard that. Well, see, that's what wicked people do. They use a crisis while other people are down and try to step on them. No, that's not what's happening here. What's happening here is that the gates are being opened for avenues of wealth. During a crisis, during the crash of 1929, income streams and ideas I read an article, I got to find it, said stuff came out of nowhere. Stuff that was hidden before started to appear. And it wasn't that it was hidden. It's that you were shielded from it because, I'm focused on, I go to work. I wake up at 7. I leave for my job at 8. I get there at 9. I leave at 5. I go pick up the kids by 6. I'm home by 7. I get dinner ready. We eat at 8. 9 o'clock, my show comes on. I get the kids down. I watch my show. And then I go to bed to do it all over again. We were so tunnel vision that now that the tunnel is gone, oh, that's good. Now that the tunnel is gone, those things that those opportunities you couldn't see before that were there the whole time are now made available to you, but you have to make the choice to engage. To you, Mr. Taylor.
On top of that, though, just before you say anything, Mr. Taylor, on top of that, we got to keep in mind that right now over 15 million jobs have been lost. 15 million people who provided a service or a product are no longer providing that. So the opportunity to step in and provide your gifting, your talent, your ability, your skill set, to the opportunity is wide open for you to fill a gap because the gap is immense.
And let me plug in right there before you go, Mr. Taylor. And on top of that, Miss Brown, the S&P 500 had its best week in 37 years.
What?
While 15 million people lost. If you can't see the deception and see that, okay, there's a game being played that I know nothing of, how is it a crisis for 15 million and counting, but yet the S&P had its best year in 37 years. You see, that market is not built for you. And you can see the separation between Wall Street and Main Street. So now the you and I walking on Main Street.
Oh, Jesus. Come on back, Donovan. Finish that thought.
For each other. Literally, we need to be our brothers and sisters keeper. Because how can lives be shattered and in shambles right now, but the S&P have its best year in 37 years? To you, Mr. Taylor.
That's disturbing on so many levels.
That's the headline. That's the headline leaving the markets on Friday. S&P had its best year in 37 years. That's good news for everybody, right?
But you know why they got to say that, though? Because if they tell people it's worse, I mean, they already feeling bad. They already down and out. And then you tell them that the S&P is crashing even more. They can't come on the news and say that, bruh. Like, they can't do it. They're doing everything they can to save face because they understand that it's over. It's a wrap. Like, there has to be a reset. 15 million people, they're not gonna have their businesses to come back to. It's already gonna be a wash. Like, it's gonna be jacked up. Yeah, will some businesses come back and boom, like barbers and maybe nail? And here's another thing that
Come on back.
like you ain't been able to go out and just buy stuff. that should teach you something. Like you've been programmed to go just buy, to just buy. Now you realizing like you just don't have to buy stuff. You can put yourself in the framework of, man, what do I really want to do with my life? How do I want to invest my time? How do I
Mm-hmm.
want to invest my money? Not spend it. Let's go from spending let's stop spending our time and money and go to investing our time and money.
Yes.
And
I
that's
just
something that we
pray.
talked. That's something that we talked about, Mr. Taylor. That people see the lifestyles of the rich and famous type shows, and they think that's what wealthy people and rich people do all day is just spend, buy, and have luxury all day. Well, they do, but that money isn't coming from an exchange of their labor and their time. They
Mm-mm.
found the path to have money chase them, have wealth and riches
Mm-hmm.
come to them without the exchange of their time. And that's what they're spending and buying this stuff out of, not out of their weekly paychecks.
Right.
And then having to wait 4 or 5 more days before another injection before I get any more money. But well, at least I got these new things to make me feel satisfied and make me look important to people that don't matter or don't care or don't love me anyway.
Right.
Listen how sad it is, and we'll get into the four keys real quick. But I heard a conversation today. Lady was saying, yeah, doesn't the unemployment checks come on Fridays? And because today is, a holiday, it's not dropping in there. So these people don't have no money over the weekend. But you still want to give your life to a job. You still want to rely. See, the problem is they have you believing not to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
That you don't have what it takes to
Hmm.
do this thing, to provide for your family with with your God-given creativity.
Yes. Yes. Mm.
Is supposed to give back, and that gifting is supposed to provide for them. That gifting is supposed to put them in front of kings and leaders and things of that nature. Because what's going on, Miss Dion, Mr. Butler? Glad to have y'all on.
So let's do this, Mr. Taylor,
Yeah,
because
let's go ahead
this
and get these
talk,
keys.
yeah, this talk it's gonna come out of what we're sharing too. Let's get into the four keys to building wealth. And again, these aren't the exclusive four keys, but these are four master keys that you can start to employ now. Notice I said you can employ.
Hmm.
We've employed ourselves as employees on the east side of the cash flow quadrant. We've had a job or we've been self-employed, but now let's start to put other things to work for us. And these are four keys that we can put to work for us. So, Mr. Taylor, I'm going to just say the first key that we have that we know of to build wealth. Again, we're not talking about income. We're not talking about cash flow. Yeah, there's a million ways that you can produce cash flow, but now how do we take that cash flow from just being a stream coming in?
All right. Dwayne, you're gonna have to pick up.
Oh, I froze.
Okay, you're back. You're back.
I hear him. I'm about to say, I hear him.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, if y'all miss me, let's just get to these four keys to building wealth. And the number one that we want to talk about today is that you have to find a way to create residual income. Residual income is when you have done the work already and the income continues to come in. So you've laid the groundwork, you've built the pipeline, like Mr. Taylor referenced the Tubo story. You do the work, the hard work up front of building the pipeline, and then the pipeline provides the income. There is a picture that I love that says if you understood residual income, you would run through a brick wall to get to it. Mr. Taylor?
Mm.
And I was gonna bring that up too. Like when you really understand residual income, when you understand, a lot of people have been trained to believe that you can't do something one time and get paid over and over and over again, right? They're building outside of the building, right? They're building this. They're right now. It's under construction, and they're doing the labor. They're doing the work now to build this place where people can sit and do work and have lunch. right? They're doing the work now. It's going to take labor and effort to build that thing, right? But
Mm-hmm.
once it's built, people get to use it over and over and over and over and over and over again. Likewise, there's so many things, like Mr. Yarbo said, there's so many different ways that you can bring in cash flow. Find a way and just go to work. Go to work and find a way to build residual income, because residual income is something that you won't understand until you truly begin to get involved with it and see how it truly works. Because once you get paid one time while you sleeping and you wake up and you got paid, I don't care if it's a dollar. If you created something that brings you in a dollar that you didn't labor for, I take that dollar over my labor that I didn't have to labor for, over $10 of my own labor.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Amen. And
Because
just to
that
give you
dollar's
an
gonna keep
example,
coming.
of like residual income, we can look at investments as passive residual. We
Mm,
know the markets are in shambles now, but if you invested in company ABC and because you have enough shares every quarter, they pay you a dividend. Well, you've already done the work of acquiring the
mhm.
asset, so to speak, the company stock, and then that stock spins off a dividend cash flow that you can then use. Well, that's what residual income is, whereas your 9 to 5 is every day you have to go up and go to that job. Now, some people have sick leave and personal time, so you don't have to trade every day, 5 days a week for the income. But 90% of the time is you exchanging time for the money. Well, we have to remove the variable of time from
Mm-hmm.
the money, and that's how you create residual income. Um,
I want
like,
to change that word real quick
go ahead.
from time to life
I,
force, or
yeah,
your
Mm-hmm.
essence.
but you can't redeem that time. You can't get that back. So
Yeah.
look at your boss. Look at your CEO. He has created a residual income stream that doesn't require his time to make money. Look how much time he spends outside the office. Look how much time he spends on quote unquote business trips. Look how much time he may spend sitting in his office doing nothing. Why? Because he's duplicated himself in you, in us, and other folks that are doing the work after he laid the groundwork early. Not saying that he's cheating someone. No, he had the dream and he went to work. He got the loan, or he found the contracts and he got the contract signed. And then he needed 10, 15, 20 people to help bring this to pass.
Mm-hmm.
So for your assistance, he pays you a portion of the profit that comes in. And now he's already done the hard work of getting the contract. He can remove himself from that. Well, see, now in your mind, you're thinking, well, man, I don't know what I can do for that. So how can I get the residual income? Stay tuned. We're going to show you a way that encompasses all four of these keys in one simple program. And that's not a commercial. That's the truth. Are you ready to move on to number two, Mr. Taylor?
Yes, sir.
Number two, the second key to building wealth is you have to accumulate appreciating assets. Triple A rated, accumulate appreciating assets. Notice that I didn't say that you have to go and one time get a boatload, get a windfall in, that you have to go and empty your savings account, empty your 401k, and go get assets. Accumulate appreciating assets. Over to you, Mr. Taylor.
You know what? First of all, we got to let people understand what are assets, right?
Right.
Assets are something that preserve your wealth. The four big main classes are fine art. We're talking like $1 million art, oil, land, not just a house. We talking about like land, and then precious metals. Those are assets because why they preserve your wealth long term. Like Jay Z in the song says, "I bought a piece of artwork for 1 million.
He bought it for 1 mil. Donovan, are you there? Can you tell us the rest of that? Well, start over, Dwayne. You bought it for 1 mil.
I can give you how the lyric goes. He says, I bought some artwork for 1 million. 2 years later, that joint worth 2 million. A few years later, that joint worth 8 million. I can't wait to give it all to my children.
Wow.
Yep, those are assets, and we have to get in the mindset of once again, it's all about a mindset. It's the way we've been programmed. We've been programmed to be laborers. We have not been programmed to be wealth builders. People who have wealth teach their children to be wealth builders. But if you didn't come from that, or if nobody ever decided to say, hey, wake up, you need to build wealth, you're just always going to be a laborer.
And
So
let me add to that, Mr. Taylor,
go
before you
ahead.
move on, that we've also been programmed to be consumers. And you can
Yes.
Yes.
hear it in the talk of the financial stations and the news stations. The consumer index report, consumers are not out spending. Consumers are now back in the market spending. They're going to the mall shopping. Consumer, consumer, consumer. We've been conditioned to consume our wealth without putting it into appreciating assets first. Continue, Mr. Taylor.
And here's an amazing time with what we're going through right now. It gives us the ability to think, how can we now become a producer instead of consumer, right? How can we go from that consumer mindset to the producing mindset? And once again, we're going to show you a system that allows you to acquire one of those assets. You know, most of us can't go out and buy $1 million artwork. We can't go out and buy land. We can't go out and buy oil and an oil rig to dig it all up and to start pumping it. And most of us don't have the ability to just go out and get ounces of gold. But we have a way that you can begin to acquire an asset for as little as $10, starting today for free. And it makes no sense not to.
Makes I don't want to insult your intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, but it truly makes no sense not to. And this is speaking from someone that took 15 months to connect to that. I want to go back to that person at month 2, month 5, month 7, month 11, and smack the life out of him. Like, wake up! What are you sleeping on? Anyway, key number 3 to building wealth, and this is an important one because this one is invisible. The enemy is invisible. He doesn't show himself to you. You can't see it. But number 3 is that you have to outpace inflation. It's like, well, what is inflation first, and how do I outpace it? It's like if some people say that if it's me and you in the forest and a bear is running after us, I don't have to outrun the bear. I just have to outrun you.
Right. To not be lunch.
Right. So I can see the bear, but it's like, okay, how do I outpace inflation if I don't know what it is and I can't see it?
Right.
Mr. Taylor?
And inflation is simply what they're doing right now. It's something called quantitative easing. They just injected like $6 trillion into the quote unquote system.
And that's the numbers that they're telling us. There's also another trillion going to the banks behind the scenes for liquidity every night. Continue, Mr.
How
Taylor.
much?
Another billion every night.
Like, so what's happening though, the reason we're not feeling inflation is because once again, they are lying to everybody. They aren't adjusting the prices of costs of goods and services to match the amount of paper that they're putting into the system. Right now, as much money that they put into the system, a loaf of bread should be about $20, if not $25. And that's what inflation is. Inflation is something that we can outrun with a linear job. That's why we live on credit. That's why you got to have a good credit score. You got to have a good credit score because you need to live a life on credit. You need to live a life of debt because this entire system is based on a debt system. And inflation is part of the program to keep you in debt because the more money they print, the higher the inflation goes, which means the more money you got to pay for goods and services, which means you got to go into more debt to get the lifestyle that you want to live because you only work in a job that pays you $10 an hour instead of taking some of your life force and begin to build something that can create residual income that can pay for your lifestyle.
So let me break that down into layman's terms and try to put a little bit of gift wrap on inflation. Inflation is robbing you of your buying power.
Yes.
Right. So you can earn a great income, 70, 75, 120, 250, $300,000 a year, but the price of goods and services is always going up. And it's not that the price of goods and services are going up, the value of your dollar is going down.
Mm-hmm.
So if the value of your dollar is going down, it's going to cost you more to get those goods and services. There is no reason right now for, I was just doing a price check yesterday of a 2020 Lincoln Aviator. That's the mid-sized SUV, which is equivalent to the Ford Explorer. The Aviator is retail priced at $96,000.
Are you serious?
90 a $25,000 truck is retail priced at $96,000. Why is that? Because the value of the dollar is gone. When the dollar was first used as a certificate, as an exchange for real money, gold and silver, a dollar had a dollar's buying power. From 1913 till today, that dollar has lost 98% of its buying power, which means that a dollar from 1913 is equivalent to over $2,000 of today's money at these prices.
Wow.
You have lost buying power, which is why you work year in and year out and you never get ahead. It seems like you're just working to pay bills. I'm just working to make the ends meet. But when do you start to accumulate and go up? That has to be a choice. Because if you don't choose to do it, inflation is silently, quietly, and unobservedly robbing you of your wealth every day. And now we don't see the inflation because we're all in our houses. But when we come out of our houses with all this free money, I mean, I was talking to someone the other day, and Mr. Taylor was there for that conversation. I said to them, we're here at work right now working hard. Well, not working hard, but we're here, right? So you're being paid for your time. Okay, great. Now, they're about to send out checks to people that are at home sitting around doing nothing. So while you're here earning dollars, they're going to give dollars away. How valuable does your labor feel right now? And go look at the numbers and see how much they're going to get. There are some people in this quarter, this fiscal quarter, will make more from the stimulus and unemployment than they would have made trading their time for money. Now you tell me that there's not a dead cat on the line and that this dollar will be worthless when this is all said and done. That's inflation. The only ways to outpace inflation is something we've already talked about. Number one, create residual income that doesn't require you exchanging your time for money or your life for money. That's good, Mr. Taylor. Your energy for money. And number two, you have to accumulate assets that appreciate in value so they store your buying power and outpace.
Okay, so while he is coming back, I just want us to take a breath.
Oh my God, I left again?
It's okay. It's okay. You're back.
I'm looking at the stream. I'm frozen.
It's okay.
Sorry.
I was just saying, let's just take a breath. Oh my goodness. As my sister who passed away a few years ago would say, we are in a pickle. Oh my God.
But see, no, we're not in a pickle, Queenie. You know why? Because we have knowledge.
Right. Well, so let me qualify that. When I say
apply.
that, you're right. I'm not worried. I'm looking at the big picture of our folks.
Yeah.
Of our families, of
I
our,
got
the have-nots
I got you.
of the world.
But even with that, you know, that's what we have to change. See, that's what they
Yes.
got us believing.
So the point that I was making is that they have us sleep. We don't even know what's about to hit.
Yeah.
You know, and we're blind to it, and we are Netflixing and chilling and not even, we're oblivious to what is really happening to us.
And quarantining day 13.
Right. Partying on Instagram.
It's not a joke. Like,
it's not a joke. Exactly. And that's why I'm saying that.
But also be preparing.
Right.
Be joyful, be preparing, man. Keep the love up. Me and my wife, man.
Right.
I took off work today and we sat around here and laughed so much today. I
Yeah.
mean, just giggling, just like little junior high kids in
That's
love, just
cute.
giggling all over the house, looking at different stuff, talking, eating. I mean, she made an omelet today that was just, man. If y'all don't know, my wife is the eat good guy, and she can cook her tail
The
off. This
eat good
omelet,
guy.
the eat good guy. This, but in all of that, we are still preparing.
Yeah.
We are still talking about the what ifs, the
Yeah.
what could be's, the worst case scenarios, not in not believing the best, not in not believing that we serve a good God, that God is just because we can't see what's being done in the spirit, that is not being done on our behalf and our benefit. But
Right.
it's still like, we had the conversation that what was going on with Moses and Noah, like, yeah, they had a close relationship with God, but it just wasn't, oh God, I'm in your presence. I have a close relationship with you. It was like, okay, God, so now what you say we need to do? It was
Right.
like, I'm here with you. I need wisdom. I'm not
Right.
here to get what's in your hand. I'm here to, okay, step one, do what? Okay, and now
Yes.
what? Okay,
Yes.
go to Pharaoh and say what? Okay, how long do I need to build the ark? What kind of wood? Go for wood. Like they were getting instructions.
Yes.
That's what we need to be doing in the presence of
Yes.
God right now, is getting instructions to
Yes.
know how to move. And quoting Jay-Z again, know how to move in a room full of vultures.
Mm.
Think about the movie Wonder Woman, ladies and gentlemen. She came to fight, what was the god? Xerxes, or what was his
I
name?
don't remember his name,
Ares,
but
the god of war, whatever.
mm-hmm.
There was a guy that was on Front Street, like, yeah, I'm going to take control. I'm going to get these bombs. I'm going to do this. And she was like, that's him. That wasn't him. It was the guy that was looked like he was on the home team. He was on the good side,
Mm.
but we couldn't see that. It's the guy that looks like I have your best interests at heart. The females that look like I have your best interests at heart. No, I'm for you. No, we're in this together. All alone together. That's what they're pumping now. That's the brainwash that they're giving us now. We're alone together. We're in this together. Come on, ladies and gentlemen, get in the presence of God so you know what to do. And
Mm-hmm.
that's why he led you across this stream. So he could give
Yes.
that information to you so you would know how to move in a room full of vultures. Back to you, Miss Brown.
Mm. That's the key right there. The message in this entire conversation is get your instructions, get clear, get quiet, get peace so you can hear. You tune that ear so that you're able to hear instruction, because the ever present voice of wisdom is always crying out in the street. It's up to us to line up, get quiet, listen, because right now it's vital for it's vital for us, it's vital for our health, it's vital for our families, it's vital for our legacy, it's vital for our survival. It's playtime is over. So I know we're getting close to the end, but I don't want to miss out on number 4. So please, guys, go ahead and share number 4 with us.
Okay.
Key number
I'm
4.
gonna get to number 4, but I just want to add one thing to what you said, Mrs. Brown, because it is that is the crux of this whole matter. Number 4 really doesn't even matter when you talk about God and the instructions that need to come. This is the time of cultivation, and my wife had me listen to a message that she heard today, because the gifts of the Spirit are freely given. They're gifts. There's nothing you have to do to earn them, nothing you have to do to conjure them up or work them. But the fruit of the Spirit has to be cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
Peace has to be cultivated.
Yes.
Love has to be cultivated.
Mm-hmm.
Patience has to be cultivated. This is the time right now where God has literally can use this time where the earth is standing still. Look at the shots of LA. I know everybody's seen it. The smog in LA is gone. There's parts in India now, they're saying, wow, we can see the Himalayas from here for the first time ever, because the smog is lifting. Mother Earth is able to take a breath. And that's your time to be able to take a breath and now cultivate, reinvent yourself, relaunch yourself. I remember Mr. Taylor was talking to me about this 2.5 years ago, that you got to launch. Think about a spacecraft trying to get into orbit. It uses up 90% of the fuel to launch. And now is the time for us to launch when it's quiet. It's peaceful. It's not a lot going on. You can get quiet. You can hear. You can take time, read, study, connect with like-minded individuals that are on that path. There's people that I'm connecting with that's showing me this stuff. It just didn't just come to me. I didn't just, get in the presence of God and he gave me a super download. No, pieces at a time that I can handle. And now I'm at a place where I can handle it and share what I've learned in first, second, and third grade. So you can come join me in fourth grade and we can go graduate to wealth together and legacy together. And this is that opportunity that wealth is going to be transferred and it's going to accelerate. Two things are happening now. The debt-based system that we're in is accelerating to its end. That's why the national debt under Trump has gone from like 18 to 24 trillion overnight. I mean, we literally went from 23 trillion to start the year, and we're already over 24 trillion dollars in debt with all the money that they're printing, and the Fed is buying up all the assets with your baby's prosperity. Yeah, those little ones that you're looking at, 2 and 3 and 5 years old, they're going to be paying back the debt from what's being produced now if we don't put ourselves in position to not be among them. We're going to come out from among them together. So if you guys are ready, I'll share number 4 and man, we can end this stream and send the people to their computers so they can log in, register, get connected, and start running to freedom with us.
Yes.
Mr. Taylor, anything to add?
Yes, sir.
4 keys to building wealth. Key number 4 is, I used to hear it like this. We have to maximize the tax code. And it's like, no, I don't want to maximize my taxes. We have to take advantages of the tax code. There is a leader in our Wealth Builders Worldwide group that says it like this. There's 2 sides of the tax code, the informed side and the uninformed side. If you're on the informed side, you can move like an entrepreneur, move like a wealthy person, and minimize the impact of taxes to your budget. Taxes are the most expensive part of your lifestyle right now, and you don't even know it. Why? Because they take it from you before you even get it. Mr. Taylor?
This is what I want our family to hear tonight. If you are a W-2 earner and you are paying federal taxes, I want you to understand that what I'm about to say is real. It's illegal. You are being robbed. It is illegal for them to charge us federal taxes. I'm not talking about state. I'm not talking about the things that, no, federal taxes are illegal. It's no different than it's a cartel. It's a banking cartel that takes anywhere from 30 to 40% of your money before you even get it. If you got paid your check and then I just came up to you and said, man, give me 40% of your check right now, and I take it, how would you feel?
You call the police.
So the only way we can legally, the only way we can use their rules against them is by taking advantage of the tax law by having a home-based business. Every person that gets a W-2 should have a home-based business to offset the taxes, to get your money back. You know how you take your money back out their pockets? Get a home-based business and then take advantage of those tax breaks and benefits, and that's how you get your money right back. They take it, put it in their left pocket. You go in and you take it out their left pocket and put it in your right pocket. That's how you do it. Other than that, you just freely giving your money away. And the way they keep you from doing that is they either scare you with fear or whatever. We gonna put you in jail, or what? We gonna garnish your check, and it is illegal. Federal taxes are illegal. People forget about the Boston Tea Party and what that was all about.
And let me add 2 disclaimers. Number 1, we're not financial advisors, which means we can tell you the truth. None of what we tell you is to be investment advice or to be taken as to tell you what you should be doing. We're only telling you what we are doing, and we are not tax advisors. So none of this should be taken as legal tax advice for you to use for your own benefit.
Perfect time to pause just after you said the most powerful stuff. Thank you so much for that. You
And
back? Okay.
Am I back? I'm
You
back.
back.
Okay.
You back.
Take the tax code and flip it on its head and use it like the wealthy use it, because they're the ones that put it in place to make
Yeah.
sure that the working class paid for the nation. And
Yes.
we look at Jeff Bezos and say he made 2.8 trillion or whatever it is and paid no taxes. He's a thief. No, he's smart. When
Yep.
President Trump was elected, they was like, "You don't pay any taxes. That makes you a thief." He said, "No, that makes me smart."
Smart.
So be smart. Don't get complaining and think that you can vote for the next senator or the next president to come in and that's going to change. That's not going to change. You can look on the news now and see who's in control. Who do they keep putting the camera on? Who keeps doing most of the talking? And when they talk, who backs up what they said? Then your leaders back up what they said. So you truly know who the leaders are. I mean, people wake up. So being able to take the tax code and use it to your advantage with a home-based business is something as easy as drinking water on a daily basis. But you have to get to the information and then apply it. So the miles that you drive on your car can be tax deductible. Some of the mortgage or rent that you pay on your domicile can be tax deductible. Some of the clothes that you wear, the uniform that you wear can be tax deductible. The shoes that you put on your feet, the food that you eat, the trips that you take, that's how they write off all their taxes. That private jet is not paid for out of their pocket. It's
Nope.
paid for, man.
Right.
The game has been played so well
Yeah.
by them that know, and they've kept us on the sidelines watching and cheering them on. And now we're telling you, in this information age, you have the opportunity to play the game as well. So
Yes.
just to recap before I turn it back over to you, Mrs. Brown, four keys to building wealth, and these are just four that we know of and four that we're adding on to. Number one, you must create residual income. Find a way to create residual income where you have already done the work and you continue to get paid on it. That could take anywhere from 1, 2, up to 5 years to produce. But take that time. It's better than the 40-40 plan. 40 years of your life, working 40 hours a week, and retiring on 40% of what wasn't enough to keep you out of debt in the first place. Number two, you have to accumulate appreciating assets. Without assets, there is no wealth, there is no foundation. So if you just create residual income and then you become a consumer, you consume that income and consume that wealth and it becomes stuff. And yeah, you may have a lot of stuff and say, "Oh, look at this, I got this, I got that, I got that." But that stuff has no intrinsic value. It has to be an asset. And what we do is we accumulate monetary assets. Number three, you have to outpace inflation. The dollar is losing value. So accumulating those assets, having that residual income helps you outpace inflation. The hidden tax is what real monetary and real economists call it. And number four, you have to find a way to take advantage of the tax code and use it in your favor instead of it being used against you and you giving the government a interest-free loan for 8 months of the year and then receiving your tax return and giving it right back because you are a consumer and they know that they can give you a check for $2,000 and they'll get it right back.
Wow. That was a mic drop. Guys, family, I am so grateful that we took this journey together because, I remember when Dwayne and I had our first conversation and he just started sharing some of this wisdom with me. And there was something boiling in me saying, I've got to share this with my family. I've got to share this with my tribe, with the people who I love and who I care about and who have been following me, because we've got to get this money thing right. We got to do it better so that our families can grow and thrive and be sustained. And, God did not intend for us to lose. And this game is set up for us to lose. So we've got to really, like we said earlier, you got to start listening to the Holy Spirit. You got to get quiet and use this time to the most fullest that you possibly can to get direction on the next steps for you. And we are offering an opportunity. The guys have a huge opportunity to be able to invest in gold in small increments. And that could be $5, $10, $20, $50, $60, whatever you can can pay yourself each month so that you can begin to acquire wealth, to begin to build and accumulate that wealth for yourself and your family. And it starts with a free account. And so in a moment, I'm going to be posting inside a link inside of the comments with access to an account that you can start it for free. You can start paying yourself first so that you and your family can start to have some type of way to make it out of this mess that the world has created around us. Because this is not our legacy. This is not our destiny. And the only way to make a change is to make a change. So I want to thank you, Kingsmen, for joining us today. Thank you, family, for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the page. And also make sure you share this with your friends and family. They've got to start learning more about money. We've got to learn about how these systems work, how they're working for us, how they're working against us, and how we can leverage them for our benefits and for the benefits of our family. So we're all growing in wisdom and wealth. Thank you so much for joining us again. Thank God it's Financial Freedom Fridays. Gentlemen, do you have any final words?
Yeah, I got real quick. I just want to tell the family, it's time to change our mindsets.
Yes.
We can't hang on to the old anymore. Just like what's happening right now, this shift, there's got to be a shift in us to go right along with the shift that's happening energetically, right? There's a great shift that's happening, and we have to make sure we are on the right side of that shift. So we have to let go of that old mindset, and it's free. Please hear me. It's free to begin to come and build wealth for your families. It's the right thing to do. Mm-hmm. You can start as little as $5 to $10. You choose. You pick whatever you want, and you begin to build wealth for your family because your family is worth it. When I began to acquire gold for the first time in my life, it did something to me. I'm the only one in my family that began to save gold. And it's been a blessing ever since. And I want to thank you, Miss Dion Stevens, for all the love. That's our sister. She's a wealth builder. We got plenty. We should sometimes have some guests come on and just tell them about what happens when you begin to acquire gold.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna leave it alone right now, and I'm gonna pass it over to you, Mr. Yarbo.
And just finally, what I wanted to finish with is that Carrot Bars encompasses all four of those wealth building principles. It's a way to create residual income by simply sharing with people how to keep their money, because that is all we do. By acquiring appreciating assets, we outpace inflation with those assets, and we use the tax code to our advantage with the home-based business and e-commerce company that we use. So all four of those are wrapped into one, and it starts with a free registration. Back to you.
Free. Yeah. And let me say this real quick. Mr. Mark Pyers is on the stream with us, and that's our tax professional guru. And he'll tell you how he started on his 25-year journey of learning and understanding taxes. So that's where we get all our information from. Like, we're not on this platform telling you our theories and no, we're telling you the stuff that we've come to learn, and we are just passing it on and sharing it with people who are willing to listen to change their life, because it's
willing to lock arms with us. All we are saying, lock arms with us.
Yes.
Let's go together. I'm not sending you somewhere. I'm not trying to lead you down a path I haven't been. I'm lock arms. Let's keep walking this path together. And if you get scared, guess what? Well, I'm here. I got you. If it gets bumpy, I got you. You support me. I support you. That's what group economics and teamwork does. Together, everyone achieves more. Miss Queenie, over to you.
Yes. Wow. Well, this has been a very rich conversation packed with wisdom, and I'm just grateful to be a part of it. Thank you, gentlemen, again for a fabulous night. We hope you all enjoy your Friday. Take some time to celebrate the resurrection. Had it not been for the resurrection, we would not be here able to celebrate in the promises that God has made to us, and to be able to walk in the fullness of those promises. So happy Resurrection Day for all of you. Have a great weekend. Love on your family. Take some time to be quiet and still. Write those instructions down, and we'll see y'all again next Friday.
And close the refrigerator.
And close that refrigerator, right? Run from it. All right. Thank God it's Financial Freedom Fridays. We'll see y'all next week. Bye-bye.
Love you, family.
Love you.